Good afternoon to you guys. Hello. Welcome to Monday, unfortunately. But we're gonna have a good time here, everybody, because I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear on a Monday afternoon. And how the heck are you guys? Victory Lane Exotics, good to see you. Great old ones, Bob Jester. Hello, hello, hello. Let me just start out with the usual call to action, guys. If you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications to be notified about what's going on here in the show when we do it, and all sorts of fun things will happen. And plus, I really like having more subscriptions. That's a lot of fun. I guess 7 or 8 people decided they didn't want to hang out. So that was a bit of a kick to the ego, but that's how life goes. If I'm gonna celebrate the positive, I have to say that there's negatives sometimes too. So that's how it goes. We do 5E here, 5 Electrum. That's right. 2.5 gold pieces. I will gladly accept 5 Electrum. Gonzalo, thank you very much. What is my favorite local gaming store? That is Gods and Monsters, located here in Orlando. They are out on International Drive. Gods and Monsters, location of Vault 5421, which is an excellent sort of nerd barcade place. It's a very happening joint. And I don't say that just because I'm good friends with Todd and Anna out there. I love uh, just going down there and checking out what's new on the shelves: paints, miniatures, terrain. Even they even get old school gaming supplements and sometimes on trade. Um, Dice, comics, manga, fan stuff. It's all there, guys. It's all there. So you should definitely, if you're in the Orlando area, check out Gods and Monsters. It's a unpaid for endorsement. I just like them that much. And Victory Lane Exotics asked me about it. So anyway, uh, also, I just want to remind everybody that this afternoon's show is brought to you by me, the Dungeon Delver, and of course, our merchandise. If you are interested in getting a piece of Delver's Dungeon merch with an absolute banger of a logo on it, designed by none other than Tracy Lesh, the creator of the Mind Flayer, among other awesome pieces of art across his amazing body of work. Guys, please, you got to check out the Spring Store. It's linked in the comments below. But I will tell you this. If that's not your thing, if merch isn't your thing, but you're seriously into first edition like I am, maybe Crom is something that might please you. Crom is, of course, the character record organization manager software. With this program that is available for 32 or 64-bit Windows 8, 8.1, 10, 11, and Wine under Linux, you can not just generate a character, you can manage that character. You can age them. You can add XP to them. You can do milestone leveling, buy equipment, dual class them if they are human or half elf headed into bard, and meet the stats for either. Drain levels. Did they have a little hanky panky with a succubus? Did they run afoul of a white? Well, this has got you covered there. Save your character in HTML or in text. Buy gem, or rather sell gems and jewelry per the player's handbook. It is everything you need. Did you not quite get the set of characteristics you wanted when you created the character? Or maybe your character found a tome or a librum? Well, guess what? This will let you adjust the stats. Create stats using any of the 4 methods prescribed in first edition AD&D. Or if you're one of those people, you want to do 3d6 down the line, you just want to roll the dice and just go down the line. It's got a custom characteristic entry mode. Guys, it's not just for creating new characters. Maybe you've got a beloved character that you've been playing since forever, and you're like, I wish I had an electronic record of this in case something terrible happened. Then you can input that character, and with a little bit of tweaking, you can make their hit points match up. You gotta kind of get next level and play around with the JSON file a little bit, but that's not too hard. I'll put up a video on how to do that. But Crom is where it's at, and it can be yours for $25. That's right. A copy of Crom for $25. I think it's a pretty good deal. So if you if you're interested in taking the burden of character creation and making it something that you can just do like that, then maybe check out Crom. Also, a couple of other features I forgot to mention. You make a high-level magic user or illusionist, it'll generate a spell book for them. And it also manages encumbrance, guys. Every DM talks. I think DMs fiddle around they dance around encumbrance because it's such a bear to figure right out of the gate. Crom does that for you. And when you buy more equipment, Crom will add that on. Can you manage your inventory after creation is complete? Well, I'll tell you, Gonzalo, you can edit the text file to your heart's content and then back that up so that when you load a character back into Crom to change it, it doesn't get stomped on when you save it. So guys, Crom really does it all. It really does it all. And I should point out, a purchase does entitle you to any future upgrades, any improvements, any bug fixes. You don't have to be like, well, I guess I got to buy this service patch. No. Nothing like that. $25 and you've got the whole schmear. So if you're interested in that, you can drop me an email, bsylvie@gmail.com. Don't tell me in the live chat. All right. Or you can message me over on X or in any social media, but just don't tell me in the live chat. Victory Lane says, I'll get Crom after I finish building my house. Well, good luck to you, sir. Grave Walker says, I learned a lot when we automated D&D generation, then ran the whole population. Who can randomly exist? Best guy on the planet is pretty good and silent. Well, there you go. And by the way, Crom will also check for psionics. That is, if you're a human and you have an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma higher than 16, Crom will check on that for you. Tech support. Hey, let me tell you what. Back, I think it was Crom, just bare Crom 1.5. I don't think we were even up to 1.5K. Somebody came back to me and said, hey, there's this edge case. This bug is happening. What's going on? And you know what? He sent me some feedback email. We worked together and I got it fixed and I got a new version out there. So yes, Victory Lane Exotics -Bill. Yes, tech support. Scooterfire Mike. Hello. I was just going to get into that, Darth. Hey, Excalibur. Good to see you. So I want to talk about the elephant in the room, not me. I want to talk about Friday and what went down Friday. So, Friday, normally, if you just subscribed and you decided to stick around, Friday normally is when we play our Gamma World live play game. And I was all hyped for it. I grabbed a shower. Everything was hunky dory. What went on? Started on Monday. Monday I had a toilet backup. It was pretty serious. It would not back up. Water was coming back up through a bathtub. Both of our toilets were acting up. It was not good. So I very quickly put in an order to get a pipe snake, and I knew that the best route to fixing it was going in through the toilet itself, and you can't put a snake through. The pipe snake will thank you very much, Jack. I will flash you a little bit for that. Thank you. Get some rest, young man. Everyone subscribe to Jack Lost Lore Scholar here on YouTube and follow him. Let's get him to 1,000 so he can start monetizing seriously here on YouTube, please. So I was prepared. I ordered all this stuff, and I ordered it from a major chain hardware store. And again, I was fully prepared. Merca. Thank you, Gonzalo. I appreciate that. So I was ready. I was prepared. And then it just went away. The clog just went away. And I was like, okay. Flushed the John a few times, mopped up the water. Everything was fine. Okay. I figured it was just a temporary bad-ish block. So went on about our business. Fast forward to Friday night. I'm getting ready to do the game. I jumped in the shower. I'm coming out. It's like 8:45. My daughter's like, hey, Dad, toilets are backed up again. Only this time it wasn't just, about an inch of wastewater standing in both of our bathrooms and coming up out of the tubs. Now, I had bought an auger, 25-foot auger. If you don't know what that is, it's a tightly coiled slinky that's about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. And you put it down your pipes, and it's got a handle on the end, and you turn it, and you hopefully break up any blockage. So all of this is going on. And, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to pull the toilet off and so on and etc. Mrs. the Dungeon Delver is saying, let's at least call someone. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not proud to admit this. I don't really So it's a little bit beyond my financial ken to just pick up the phone at 10 o'clock on a Friday night and have a plumber come over. It just is the way it is. I'm poor. So once I realized the extent of the issue, that there would, be extra help required, called Roto-Rooter. And I have to say something, unsolicited endorsement number 2, Roto-Rooter of Melbourne, Florida, were amazing. They sent out a dude who absolutely was fantastic. But I take a little bit of comfort in this. He got here like at 11:30. And you guys might say, well, Bill, you could have done the show. You could have just delayed it just a few minutes and come back in and done it if he wasn't going to be there till 11:30. Do you have you guys ever seen me do a show when I am supremely stressed out? I don't do them anymore. I used to. I used to just come out and regardless of what was going on, doing them. And I thought I did a pretty good job. I don't look good and I don't carry forward very well. So thank you, Victory Lane. I appreciate that. So, when he got here, I actually helped him dig around our front yard to try and find the relief. We pulled a couple of relief caps on the side of the house and he ran down through it and was like, I'm going to have to go through your toilet. It's going to cost this many hundreds of dollars more for me to pull your toilet. And I said, what if I pull it? And he said, then it's just the original price. Now, I'm not afraid of pulling a toilet. It's shut the water off, unscrew the pipe, vacuum out bail out the tank, vacuum out what's left, vacuum out the bowl, and then lift the toilet off, set it aside. So that's what I did. So he then spent an hour with a couple of different power augers in our secondary bathroom. One was a 4-bladed jobby that he said was that if this one doesn't work, then we have bigger issues. So, at 4 o'clock in the morning, he left. And it was done. It was an incredibly stressful 36 hours. I covered up the open sewer line in the bathroom, latched and closed the door to that bathroom and said, since everything's working, we're just going to use the master bath for now. I'm not doing, and Saturday I basically didn't do anything. I did Nerd Council of Doom, and then we had Mike Neistel on Saturday evening, and yeah, I basically at that point I was just like, I'm done. And then Sunday, new wax ring, remounted the toilet, got everything hooked up, and we're good to go now. So it's not that's a stressful thing to have happen, and it's not that big of a deal. I know a lot of you guys might be like just kind of staring at the screen or listening right now going, you had a plumbing problem and you acted like you'd gotten diagnosed with cancer or had a death in the family. Guys, stuff like this stresses me out. It puts me into a fucking spiral. And I'm sorry if you think that means I'm weak or, you know, I was engagement farming over it or something. But I was genuinely freaked out because I didn't know where I didn't know how we were going to pay for it. I mean, the cost was what some of you guys might pay for kind of an expensive dinner out, but for us, it was crushing. And I managed to someone stepped up. I'm working for that money, by the way. That is not. It was essentially a pay advance. So I've signed a contract and everything. It wasn't like somebody just you know super chatted me. But honestly, like even a late night stream on Friday, even if the guy had run the thing once and it had just been it's done, was out of the question. Guys, I stood and walked through wastewater. And plus I was out on the front yard trying to dig up the relief valve, the main relief valve, which I still need to find. I still need to find where the main relief valve is. So if it happens again, I don't have to pull a toilet because that sucks. But the person who helped and they know who they are has all of the love in the world, and I appreciate it. They didn't have to step up, but they did. So that was my Friday. That's why things went off the rails on Friday. And if it was still in crisis on Saturday, I wouldn't have done NCOD and I wouldn't have done the interview with Mike Neisel. I would have said, look, this is not a good time right now. And I go back there and I flush the toilets and I'm still like, I will stand there and watch and wait for it to come up and listen. So that's what happened to me Friday. That's what went on Friday. That was the big bad thing. And I think a lot of people may now sit back and go, again, why were you stressed out? Why were you so freaked out? Why did it look like you had a home invader just off camera with a firearm pointed in your direction? What? Just because of your plumbing? But there it is. That's what it was. I mean, I would have been stressed out if I had had the funds. So for the time being, because I have trees and bushes in my yard that could very easily be the cause of this, but for the time being, it's done. It's over with. So movie guy John, you're gonna pick up a copy of Crom, right? Anyhow, let's see. Sorry, I'm answering a message about Chrome right now. Okay. So, yes, trees and bushes. So anyway, guys, to move on from that, let's talk about the week ahead. Music recommendation: the Texas forged heavy metal band Eternal Champion. All right, I'll check them out, Damien. That sounds good. That's the Eternal Champion. Obviously, I can't play anything. I asked a question on Twitter yesterday, and I got some interesting replies. I'm gonna pull this. I'm not gonna play it, obviously. Okay. I got him pulled up. I asked a question on Twitter. So I'm 55 years old. My LifeLock has turned black. I am overdue for carousel. The Sandman will find me eventually. But I asked the question, is it worth it at my age to try and learn to play guitar? And I did it as a poll, and it's like 480 some people, 440 some people, I don't remember, responded and said, yes, you should do, you should learn to play guitar. We have a couple of guitars around here, and for the people who said, oh, get this guitar, get that guitar, this guitar does this and that guitar, guys, I have a couple of acoustic guitars. That's where we're going to start. Death Angels know what I talk about. Knows what I'm talking about. So what was interesting was 7.5% of people said, no, it's over. Just don't bother. I promise you guys, I am no longer at the age where I'll show up at a house party with I just happen to have my guitar and I'll sit down and start playing Disarm by Smashing Pumpkins. I will not do that to anybody. Somebody else said, yeah, and then you could have music to guys. The idea of me composing is completely not even in the realm of possibility. I said, learn to play guitar, literally to give my hands something to do while I sit around idle around my house. Three Musketeers is awesome, Jeff. I'm a little bit more of a Milky Way guy these days. Some people are like, Snickers. I find the peanuts intrusive. So Milky Way is like that. It's got that thick caramel base on top of the nougat, so I kind of like the body and heft that the caramel gives over the Three Musketeers, which is just fluffed nougat and chocolate. I could sell a deluxe version of Crom that involves me stopping by and playing Smashing Pumpkins. Used to be a little boy, what's a boy supposed to do? The killer in me is the killer in you. Anyway, Mrs. the Dungeon Delver actually plays the viola. It's been a while since she's done it, but she can. ultimate plan in life is to one day, far in the future, begin decomposing. I don't know that will happen that far in the future for me, the decomposition. Have you seen my old bear? If I thought Bob would just give it to me. I mean, technically he kind of has, but yeah, I wouldn't show up at somebody's house or party or barbecue or whatever and just, this is a guitar moment, you know, trying to work through some awful version of Brawny Hour or something like that. But yeah, it's just something I was kicking around in my head. But somebody had said, yeah, hey, you could just, you know, you could do your own music. And again, it's not I couldn't, I can't, I don't foresee a world in which I can compose music. And anything I could play would belong to someone else. So I'm kind of back to that. I need somebody to make music and give it to me. And just say, here, I played this for you. This belongs to you. Because of all the discussion, I'm not going to go through the music copyright discussion matter again. Make an updated version of Crom called Four Winds. No, because people just make fart jokes about it constantly. But this is actually a good thing, because I want to tell you guys a little bit about what's coming after Crom. Or what's coming next, I should just say. The Dungeon Master's Guide has circumstances where you will encounter an NPC party, whether it's on ethereal or astral plane, in a dungeon, in a town, in the country, wilderness, whatever. You can run into a beastie out there that, in fact, is an entire adventuring party. One of the features of the upcoming program will have push button party generation within a range. It's not going to go out and do the full pull a Crom character sheet thing. It can't. I can't program Crom into it and then have all the other DM's tasks. I can't repeat my work like that. But what it will do is do a stripped down bare minimum assignment of stats, gear, alignment, and potential magic items. Just give you like a stat line for each character. By the way, I am glad you're here, Doc Flamingo. Doc Flamingo's our guest this week. Doc Flamingo will be in on Thursday, and we're going to talk about Age of Blood and Iron, his TTRPG. I've been really looking forward to talking to Doc. I'm very excited about this. So, Doc, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. That's going to be now. You let me know, Doc, if this is too late in the evening for you. But we're aiming at 9 o'clock on Thursday. Doc Flamingo will be here. I am also there's going to be another creator joining us next Thursday, but this week we're going to be talking about Age of Blood and Iron, and Doc's going to be here, and I will want you guys to check it out. Tim Imholt, my buddy Tim, clocking in over on X. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Jay Tyler of Guitar saying a few things. Now, that is what the string gauge is actually one thing that I know. I used to work in a record store, and we sold guitar strings. And the one thing that the Ernie Ball rep would always tell us is like, hey, if somebody comes in and they say they're learning to play guitar, make sure you're selling them light gauge strings. It's easier on the fingers. I don't know what gauge strings are on the guitars we have around here. I guess I'll find around and fuck out. Anyway, so that's that is, I know that. Estevao, good to see you. Good evening. How are you? Unless you're leaving. Ryan Lopez, hello. Nylon is easiest to learn on. Yes, that is very true. Very true. Steel can be rough on your fingers if you haven't developed the calluses. But anyway, so when or if I decide to tackle it, yeah, I will look at that. I will definitely look at that. And I mean, uh, so anyway, so yes, Doc will be here on Thursday. Now tomorrow night, let's do this in order. Tomorrow night we're playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I have my super cool crew of players are going to be in the house. That's going to be Tim, that's going to be Thane Kyle, that's going to be Doomsword, Gonzalo, and Kevin. They're all going to be here, and we're all going to be locked in and playing some first edition AD&D. Now, maybe you've just subscribed and maybe you don't know you don't know 100% what I mean when I say we're going to play AD&D. Maybe like it pops in your head, the first thing is like, oh, okay, like a Critical Role, but for AD&D. No, because here's the thing, guys. We don't do practice sessions. We don't do scripts. We don't do table reads. We don't do writing sessions. We don't do story arcs, any of that. We play first edition AD&D. The dice that you see rolled on screen decide what is happening. They decide what is happening. If I tell the party, hey, everybody, give me a save versus magic or a save versus dragon's breath, the dragon is breathing fire breath on you all, and everybody rolls 3, 4, 5, 6, even with bonuses, it doesn't make saves. They take full damage, and if their characters die, their characters are wiped out. We could have a total party kill tomorrow night, guys. 5 minutes in, we could just done. And then everybody has to fire up Crom. Everybody has to roll new characters. Esteval has a question. Nothing is off topic here on a Monday, Esteval, by the way. What was my reaction when I saw the Balrog scene in the Fellowship of the Rings for the first time? Visually impressive, incredibly impressive. Easily one of the best fantasy scenes done on the big screen, hands down. Ian McKellen absolutely brought it. There was a little tweak to Gandalf's challenge on the Bridge of Khazad-dûm that I didn't mind too terribly much. He did much more egregious things dialogue-wise in the films that you could raise your hands in protest about, I feel. But I was blown away. It was so well done. I mean, compared to Bakshi's kind of muddled looking guy thing. Now, the Balrog is only described as much taller than a man and with wings that spread like shadow behind him. So there's a lot of interpretation for Jackson to work with, a lot of room for Jackson's interpretation. So I honestly, I thought it was great. I was blown away. It was kind of the centerpiece of the film. I'm the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. The dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun. Go back to the shadows. You cannot pass. He said shall not in the movie, but like I said, that was the one thing. I preferred cannot, but there we go. I mean, personally, if you want to know the scene that was in the book and Jackson represented it on the screen and it disappointed me the most, it was Eowyn confronting the Witch King. Her dialogue when she faces the Witch Queen. First of all, Eowyn got done so dirty by that movie production. I can't even talk about it without getting angry about the portrayal of Eowyn. People talk about Tolkien not knowing how to portray women. Bullshit. Bullshit. Eowyn was a warrior maiden, puissant at arms. She was brave to a fault. She hated the fact that Éomer and Theoden and everyone else expected her to stay in Meduzel and die. And when she made it into Gondor, when she was healed, she wanted to go back out with the armies, with the army to the Black Gate of Morannon and die there instead of dying in the city. She knew what was coming. And she wanted to go right back out there. Éowyn wanted to march right back out onto the field. Tolkien wrote a strong, powerful woman in Éowyn, and she got done completely dirty in the films. They cut glorious dialogue down to a quip. So yeah, he soloed the Balrog. Gandalf, you soloed the Balrog. Jeff, I don't know. You know what? Maybe tomorrow maybe ask that of Thane Kyle. He knows his medieval history. Gonzalo, I as DM would not award the entire party the XP. Gandalf slew him alone. The rest of the party split off and were miles away when Gandalf and the Balrog fought each other running up the stair of Zigak-Zigil. When they burst out onto the ancient watch balcony, and his fires burst forth anew. And then Gandalf threw down his foe and smote his ruin upon the mountainside. Doesn't Gandalf count as DM's NPC? I don't know, Damien. That's a good question. I think if Tolkien wrote himself in as any character in the Lord of the Rings, it was almost certainly Samwise Gamgee. Or possibly Bilbo. But anyway, I was going on about something. Oh, right. So Tuesday night, again, we play first edition AD&D. Wednesday, I'm waiting to hear back from Kyle as to whether or not he is going to be able to attend on Wednesday. If he is, we're going to play Yes, But, his lightweight post-apocalypse TTRPG, which is a lot of fun. And failing that, we'll find something to talk about. Thursday, Doc Flamingo is in, and we're talking about Age of Blood and Iron. And then Friday, God willing, we're going to play Gamma World. And then on Saturday, I'm not doing anything. I'm watching the Alabama FSU game Saturday afternoon. And then Saturday evening, I'm going to watch a movie with a wife. Did I read Board of the Ring? I've been meaning to. I've got it on the shelf. I might actually read it in preparation for my yearly read of Lord of the Rings, which is coming up very soon. I start in October, usually reading Lord of the Rings, October, November. And I usually wrap it up by early spring. I've been trying to read it faster. And I don't mean like speed read it. I mean, literally take more time to just sit and read. Hager says, go Knowles. I say roll Tide. Let's see who wins. David Mills read it. Right now, Death Angels, the spread is Bama minus 13. The over-under is 50. The line is 50. No, that is funny, Doc. Up, down, left, and right. Ryan, she passed the test. She refused the ring. She remained Galadriel and would diminish and go into the West. That was her decision. And I should point out, I think it is fair to point out that Tim Imholt is also in our Gamma World game Friday. So is Doom Sword, and so is Kevin. So I have 2/3 of my Friday game is also 2/3 of my Tuesday game. So I have a good group. Now that is one thing I will give I will give Jackson huge props for. Like, of all of the scenes he could have handled indelicately, of all the things he could have really screwed up, I think he did the test of Galadriel at the Mirror of Galadriel. I think he chef's kiss, fantastic stuff. The thing that Amazon does is not Lord of the Rings. It simply has that name emblazoned on it. It's no more Lord of the Rings than somebody using Mork Borg to play some perverted vision of Hobbiton is Lord of the Rings. What I guess what ultimately, and I've talked about this before, and I'm probably going to lose more subscribers. I should maybe just shut the fuck up about this, but one of the things that cheesed me off so much about Jackson's adaptation of Lord of the Rings is people were like, well, why not Tom Bombadil? And he said, oh, well, we wanted to, but there wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time. There's only so much time. We had time to do this and time to do that. You had time to invent an entire sequence. An entire sequence of Aragorn, I don't, running, being chased, something just smack dab in the middle of the two towers. You had time to invent this lunacy where the absolutely horrible presentation of Faramir drags Frodo all the way to Osgiliath and holds him up in front of a ring wraith. And Frodo's like, holding up the ring in front of Al-Farazon? That literally should have been the end of the story. Swoop, snatch, boom, gone. I've got the ring. Whoosh, darkness reigns for 10,000 years. So we had time for Amazon network level fan fiction, but not time for Eowyn's dialogue against Al-Farazon, Tom Bombadil, and the scouring of the Shire. And the Barrow-wights. The explanation of why Merry stabbing the Lord of the Nazgul, the chief calamity in the thigh, being such a big deal. Yeah, think about that. We almost could have had 5. We could have had 5 hobbits going out there. But nope, he was like, you know what? I'll take care of the house. Good luck, boys. Gravewalkers, hard disagree with you. Hard disagree. I've always loved the inclusion of Tom Bombadil and Goldberry. I relish the encounter with Tom Bombadil in the Old Forest. So anyway, well, I've told you guys what's going on this week. We do have a guest next week as well, but we're not going to get there. But we're not going to get there tonight talking about it because, well, we'll talk about it next week when it's going on. What is my current PC kill count? Okay. I read you, Gonzalo. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely, and it's missing. It's not just a key element of the Lord of the Rings that's missing. It's a statement by J.R.R. Tolkien that is snipped out of the story. The Hobbit trilogy was gross and unwatchable. I utterly despise what was done with Tolkien's first book, that bloated mess. What is my current PC kill count? Probably north of a dozen in the Tuesday night game. I've lost track of the Gamma World casualties. But we have had we had like 4 or 5 character deaths over time, and then we had a near TPK, and we've had a couple of near TPKs in the A series. So it's north of a dozen. Might even be into the high teens or low 20s. Near TPK means I need to try harder. Hey, it's like my daddy used to say, some days you get the bear and someday the bear gets you. I would just like to thank, we have 34 of you absolute maniacs watching over on YouTube, and 141 has cruised by over on X. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Them's awesome numbers. I really, really appreciate it. Was Castles and Crusades really what Gary envisioned as D&D next? I don't know. Gary really liked it, and Gary had a lot of input into how it worked. But I will tell you this. I was the last person to be in the pipeline to work with Gary. Gary and I were going to work together on Legendary Adventures. That was going to be me and Gary working on Legendary Adventures before Gary passed away. My feeling there is that that Gary had designed Legendary Adventures. He wanted Legendary Adventures to be like his next thing, and I played it a little bit with him. It feels like a different game. I think he liked it. It was a little bit more freewheeling. I've got one or two Legendary Adventures supplements around here somewhere. But that's I can't really tell you what Gary's mind was. I know he liked to work on Castles and Crusades as a vehicle to publish his World of Greyhawk stuff. Let's see. And the last I see what you did there, JAS. Harry D, may you ask about the stream? Yes, Harry, ask about the stream. So ask your question, Harry, and I will answer David Mills' question while we wait on you. Did I ever look at the Chris Perkins AD&D 3rd edition rules, PDFs on the internet? No, I did not. Is the Arkenstone a broken chunk of Ormel after Melkor smashed them in Arda? Sounds great story, makes sense, but I made it up. General audience would never understand Bombadil. I don't agree with you. I vehemently don't agree with you. I mean, I'm not upset at you. I'm just saying, first of all, I think you're, for lack of a better term, fan fiction about the Arkenstone. That's cool. I was just assumed the Arkenstone was like some near flawless, naturally occurring gem that the dwarves had found in the mountain. They're like, holy crap, all we got to do is just slightly chip the rock away from it, and we've got it. So I'm waiting on Harry to ask a question about the stream, but I didn't see it pop in yet. But Harry, if you're still out there, feel free to ask. We're waiting. What are the other must-read epics for fantasy role-playing? Oh, that's easy. Howard. You want to read Howard. You want to read Fritz Leiber. You want to read Poul Anderson, absolutely, without a question. Clark Ashton Smith, Edgar Rice Burroughs, H.P. Lovecraft. Wow. Any A. Merritt works? Oh yes, David Mills, Lord Dunsany, Ursula K. Le Guin. Who else? Andre Norton. Philip Jose Farmer, World of Tears. There's some good fantasy. Have I ever crossed the streams? No, because all life as I know it did not stop instantaneously, and every molecule in my body did not explode at the speed of light. So I hope that answers your questions about fantasy influences that you could be reading. Now, one might suggest the Dragon Riders of Pern. Dragon Riders of Pern is hard. Dragon Riders of Pern is almost just like science fiction. If you don't know, major spoilers coming right here. The Dragon Riders of Pern starts off with a premise that there is this fantastical world that is beset by these strange filaments that fall from the sky called thread. The thread is acidic and carnivorous. Think of green slime, but the consistency of cotton candy and miles long and hundreds of yards wide. And it drifts down out of the sky. Any person it touches, it will kill. Crops and so forth, it will burn them and destroy them. To combat this, the people of this world have trained dragons to eat something called firestone, which is a brimstone-like substance. They chew that and they belch flames on the thread while it's in the air, and it's charred, and it turns to ash. And there are many places around the world that all are protected by fortresses called weirs, W-Y-E-R. And each weir is a noble house, and so on and etc. So we've set up a fairly solid fantasy novel, except the people on this planet are colonists from hundreds of years prior who absconded with a starship and fled a galaxy in the midst of a horrendous civil war, landed on this planet called Pern, and found out to their misery that there is a rogue planet. They call it the Red Star. By the time we start the Dragon Riders of Pern, they call it the Red Star. But there's a rogue planet in an eccentric orbit, and when it gets close enough to Pern, Pern's tidal forces rip away parts of its atmosphere, and its atmosphere is thick with these carnivorous destructive rhizomes. And it pulls them away as frozen meteors that thaw out in Pern's atmosphere, accelerate to supersonic speeds, and then do their horrible thing. Well, the people of Pern, there's a southern continent that they never go to. It's a wild, unexplored land. And at the end of the original trilogy, when they go there, they finally mount an expedition, and they go there, and they start digging around. They find an orbital shuttle that landed and was slowly overgrown. And as time goes on, they discover more and more and more of their lost past and establish a better understanding of technology. And they find out that in orbit around their planet is the colony ship. It's been completely abandoned. They stripped virtually everything off of it and landed on the planet without knowledge of the thread, rhizomes, and whatnot. So at the end of the next trilogy of books, I think it's the next trilogy of books, the dragons are able to avoid thread when they're flying through the sky. They teleport. Basically, they can fold through dimensions over very short distances. It's called going between. Well, they figure out if a dragon rider who is mentally bound to their dragon, psychically linked to their dragon, can picture where they want the dragon to go, regardless of where it is in space or time, they can go between to that place. So what they do is they go between to the starship, grab the drive section, and go between close enough to the rogue planet that they can let go of the drive engines there. Then they go between back to Pern. Then the antimatter FTL drives detonate and push the red star, this little rogue planet, out of Pern's orbit forever and end Threadfall. So that is the Dragon Riders of Pern. And at the end of the equation, they've acquired computer technology, set up information networks. They're higher metal technology. So what all this has to do with all the original questions is, I don't consider Dragon Riders of Pern a fantasy setting. It's not. It's a science fiction setting. If you go in and you read the Dragon Riders of Pern just as a fantasy story, you'll either be disappointed or excited. I was hugely excited when I got to the end of the trilogy of books, The Dragon Riders of Pern. And it used to be back in the 80s, if you joined the Doubleday Science Fiction Book Club, you got that and a Dragon Riders of Pern tote bag for free. So buy 14 books, subscribe monthly, and you get a copy of the Dragon Riders of Pern for free. Doc Flamingo says, first of all, thank you for the super. Bernard Cornwall wrote some great Arthurian stuff. Yes. David Mills says, wow, glad I never read that. I liked it. I liked it when I was a youngster. Magic Kingdom for Sale, sold by Terry Brooks, is a fun story. Very cool. Light Main, excellent. You guys should check out Light Main's channel. Go give him a sub. Speaking of subs, I've got one in the fridge. I think I'm going to have that for dinner tonight. But anyway, yes, those are my fantasy influences. Those are the things, not counting Dragon Riders of Pern. Another wonderful set. Fred Saberhagen's Books of Swords. Good fantasy. Saberhagen, Book of Swords. Michael Moorcock, of course. But I think that just about finishes us up for today, guys. Be here for the grand first edition AD&D game tomorrow night. You don't want to miss that. Yes, Lightmane has written 2 fantasy books as well. I do recommend listening to the narrative. Put it on in the back when you're just chilling out. If you like an audiobook, it's good stuff. But yeah, I'm going to get on out of here and get some dinner and tend to the fam. Thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. Especially big thanks to Jack, Lost Lore Scholar, Gonzalo, and Doc Flamingo for the supers. You guys literally helping keep me dry around here. So thank you all, one and all. I'll be back tomorrow night, everybody. I will be back. And we will be playing some first edition AD&D. So you don't want to miss that. Again, please subscribe for very cool stuff. And until then, keep your eyes peeled for the dreaded owl bears. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.